everybody. I'm starting my live stream today with my good morning message to you. I wanted to say good morning, precious ones. We're here together, another fresh day unfolding right here. Take a deep breath with me. Let's check in with ourselves. I have my grand dog here. He's so cute. I'm your morning maven, and I'm grateful you're here with me today because each one of you is irreplaceable with your own unique experiences and wisdom and light to bring to the world. Whether you're sipping your first cup of coffee or just watching the sunrise, you may have already started digging into your tasks for the day. You're getting deep into work. So let's share a little wisdom, inspiration, and some conversation from the second half of life. Today is a gift, a brand new page filled with possibility. It's open, and we can enter it with kindness and curiosity. Let's chat about what's happening in the world and remind each other what growing and learning is. We are still growing and learning, even later on in life. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite mug, and let's welcome this day with our hearts and our open and with grateful spirits, because every morning is a chance to learn more and to get a little deeper and to live a little fuller. So I truly have you in my hearts today, and I want to make this time special together. So let's start. What I had on my heart was that I wanted to introduce myself. I'm nearing 50 years old now, and I feel like I have a little bit of experience and wisdom. I'd like to comment on things that I've seen in the news and give my own take on it. I was inspired to do this just to start live streaming or podcasting just 3 days ago, I believe. Might have been Sunday. Today is Thursday. So I just spent the last few days trying to get all the websites set up. I'm not technical at all, so it did take a few days to kind of figure out and some things still are not active, like on YouTube for live streaming. You have to wait 24 hours for that, and so I'm still waiting on my access to that. Hopefully it'll work out. I don't know what platforms to really do, so I signed up for a lot of them I may not end up using. But it was Scott Adams, his podcast on this last Sunday that inspired me. It was Dr. Drew and Greg Gutfeld, two people that I adore in addition to Scott. I just feel like I have something to give. Maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea, but somebody will resonate with this. So I'll just put myself out there just to see, if I can help anyone else with something they're going through. So something I just went through recently was identity theft. Christmas Day. So this was 3 weeks ago now. So about 3 weeks ago, on Christmas Day, I get this alert from Credit Karma saying that there's a hard inquiry on my credit. And then I get an email saying, hey, you're approved for these credit cards. and multiple credit cards and accounts were opened in my name. So I got on the phone real quick and called the bank. Thankfully, the fraud department was open on Christmas. Sorry, my kitty's here. This is Frankie. She's my sweet little kitty. She's I got her in July. So this is January. She's still just a sweet baby. She's a Manx, no tail. So, there you go. So I called the banks right away and told them, oh no, that's a fraudulent account. And they said, oh good, thanks for reporting it so quickly. They took that credit inquiry off my report. I called Experian or there was three, TransUnion, Experian, and the other one. I called one of them right away and just put a freeze on my credit, and then in the voicemail it said, oh, all three will be notified from us. You don't have to call all three. So more things happened the next day, so I called the other one. So Experian, and what's the other one? Not TransUnion. There's another one, I can't remember right now, but I called the other one, put a freeze on my credit through them. Also opened a fraud. Oh, I downloaded those two apps on my phone, and then I put a fraud alert on both. Then I got something from another bank. I called that bank, reported it as fraud. Got another third one, called the bank back again. It was two with the same bank somehow. And fraud alert, fraud alert. And so my credit isn't impacted, but my credit is frozen now. So that's what I would advise anyone to do. Just call and freeze your credit. Because, yeah. And there's another different way fraud happens. Not identity theft. Well, I guess it would be identity theft. Earlier last year, I had it's called Gas Buddy. It links your debit card to gas pumps, and it gives you a discount when you use their card that they give you to swipe at the pump. It takes it out of your debit account, and it gives you a discount. So I was using Gas Buddy years ago. I wanted Gas Buddy when I was moving from Colorado to Florida, and we're doing the U-Haul truck and everything. I'm like, I need the biggest discount. It was in 2022 when gas was like $5 a gallon, and I'm filling up this huge 26-foot U-Haul truck and a car. We had a car and a truck. We were driving across country, so I'm like, I need to get all the discounts I can. So I was able to sign up. So I didn't use the Gas Buddy. It's just been sitting in my wallet. Somehow someone got my password maybe and mailed a new card to themselves, and they started using my Gas Buddy. And I saw in my checking account like all this money is being taken out. So I called Gas Buddy. I was like, hey, stop my account from being used. Remove my account somehow. And even with me reporting fraud to Gas Buddy, it still kept my card kept being used. So I went into the bank at where I do my checking, and they put a stop. They actually shut the whole account down and opened a new account for me. So that account is completely frozen. So if Gas Buddy continues to let that person use my card, it's going to be denied. So, and then they were able to reimburse me. Thankfully, it was proven as fraud, and they were able to reimburse me. It was a couple $100. But this time, it's like I hopped right on it and called those 3 credit reporting agencies. You can get a free copy of your credit report, so you can check it over and make sure that there was no accounts open. So I've done that. I have the Credit Karma app, which alerts me. Thankfully, that was my first alert. Yeah, it took a couple weeks. You do need to go to the FTC website. It's identitytheft.gov. Make a report there, and also with your local police. Make a police report as soon as possible. Because then if you do have charges that you're responsible for, that you're liable for, you have that documentation to fight it. And actually, I believe my local police department has a victim advocate who can help you fight it. So I went ahead and made a police report. Everything's come back 0, no hits to my credit. I was on top of it right away. So that was just my one little piece of advice today. Identity theft. Keep an eye on your credit. Do sign up for Credit Karma. And in my email, I have my filter, my spam filter, set to really strict. So only my trusted people get into my main inbox. So when I saw Credit Karma in there, I knew that was real and that wasn't a fake, like, spoof email looking for my, looking to scam me. Because there are fraud, bad actors trying to get you to give your information to them. I forget what that's called, phishing, where they try to say they're with your bank, but they're not. So only my bank, only my Credit Karma goes into my main email box, and in the junk, it'll be other stuff from Chase or Wells Fargo or someone else, Bank of America or whoever. And I'm like, I know that's fake because my real bank goes into my main inbox. So there's ways you can use the tools at your fingertips to help you decipher what's real and what's not, to protect yourself. So anyway, my social security number, I guess, is on the dark web, and that's how people got to apply for credit cards in my name. So that happened to a lot of people. I think there was an Experian. See, like I said, I can't remember that other one right now. There was one of those credit reporting agencies had a security breach, so a lot of people's information got out there. Now, there was something I was going to talk about, hot takes, because some of us love watching these videos. It's like you see a news article or you see something that's happening and they have like some different like hot take on it. Well, I was thinking, someone was asking me about something like, aren't you mad about blah, blah, blah? And this is something I learned from Scott Adams. It's like in the fog of war. We don't have all the information yet. Yeah, that the woman who was shot during an ICE operation, we see the video. I mean, you can make your own conclusions from what you see in the video. You can infer from what you've seen in the past and what kind of media you consume. It creates your worldview. Or you can be like, I don't think we have all the details yet. I'm not going to comment. I mean, it's a tragedy. I mean, everyone is so sad that someone had to lose their life. It was unnecessary. It's the unnecessary loss of life. I think that is even more upsetting because it didn't have to happen, is the thing. She didn't have to insert herself in that situation, and that's, a lot of people don't have that view even. So it's like, yeah, let's not jump to conclusions or make some, inflammatory statements about things. Let's just see, as the week unfolds, and I think the news cycle used to be, something could be in the news for a few weeks. I believe the news cycle now is maybe 7 days, if I remember what I read. So that story in about a week should be not being talked about anymore. But I just wanted to say, don't try not to have a hot take. If you can, have a warm take. Like, yeah, I read this story, I saw the video, and I feel this way. But my warm take, or my soft take, is that it didn't have to happen. Let's wait and see. So that's one of the things you can say if someone's wanting to get you or draw you in or make you make a statement either way, like, yes, that's bad. No, it was fine. Or that person's bad. You can be like, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. More information could come out. That's a perfectly reasonable answer to give to someone who's trying to get you to weigh in on a topic. Maybe you're not comfortable yet because you don't have all the information. So you could say, I don't have enough information to really form an opinion. I'm really sad that that happened and that on the surface looks awful. You can say, I can see how you would think that. I'm just waiting to figure out how I even feel about it or what I think is the truth in this situation. So that's hot takes, not so hot takes. So you can have a warm take, you can have a soft take. You don't have to get cornered by someone who wants to I mean, it's human nature to want people to agree with you, to side with you, to hold your opinion also. And you hold your opinion because you think it's the right opinion. You're not thinking something because you think it's the wrong thing to think. So you always want people, even I think the person who needs the least validation in the world still will just want people to agree with them. Be like, yeah, you're right. That was not right. That was a tragedy. You know, we do seek that validation. It's just nature, human nature. And then I wanted to talk, the last thing I wanted to talk about was something I saw on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was talking to Rand Paul, and I am a long-time Rand Paul fan, and Ron Paul. I tell you what, when I first started voting, I think the first election I voted in, Ron Paul, I remember, was running, or he was in it somehow. That's how when I first saw his ideas, I guess, about the Fed. And so they were talking about Donald Trump freezing the credit card companies, or making it a law the credit card companies can't charge more than 10% interest on credit cards. And on the surface, and this is one of those hot takes I was taking, I'm like, yeah, that's predatory, whatever. I have my whole own history with credit cards and credit card drama, and so of course that plays into how I feel about it. But I got to see how Rand Paul was, he's kind of fighting against it. So let me give a little bit of background. About 20 years ago, I was pregnant with my son, and I was working at a maternity store in the mall. And at the maternity store, one of the sales reps' duties was to sell this credit card. And the credit card was good in theory. I think it was a credit card where if you spent $6.50, your charge on your card would be $7, and 50 cents goes into a 529 plan for your baby, which is great. Yeah, easy way to save for college. So that seems really smart. But at the time, I was about $30,000 in credit card debt. My husband and I were drowning. We were in such a bad place, and I was like, I can't stand credit card companies. And it's like with the insurance, it is unconscionable how I felt like we could not get out of this debt hole. So I told my boss all that. I'm like, I feel like there's too much pushing of credit in this country. I think the amount of credit, the outstanding debt in our country is unsustainable. It's going to break us at some point, and it's going to tear up families. It's not good for marriages. Like, the number one reason people go into marriage counseling, I believe, was financial disagreements. Financial, and then infidelity. What was the other one? Maybe child rearing or something. I read this, and this was 20 years ago when I was reading this, and I brought that information to my boss. I'm like, I'm not going to sell these credit cards to people. I'm not going to push credit cards. I am against people having too much credit at that point in my life, because we were struggling with it. It was unmanageable. And we put ourselves in that situation. So with the 10% freeze, on the surface, when I first heard about it, I'm like, that's great. That's great. That can help people dig themselves out if they're in a debt hole. So that was my first hot take before I had anyone's input or seen anyone else's ideas on the topic. But the way Rand Paul was talking about it, he's like, if you make credit too cheap, people will get more credit who shouldn't have credit. So you're really, in some ways, you're hurting people by them not feeling the pain of the high credit interest rates. And believe me, I can understand the feeling, the pain of a high interest rate. It was awful. I never wanted to be, and we have not been in that situation again. After we sold our home, we had $30,000, a little over $30,000 in equity. So we sold our home. We were living in a one-bedroom apartment, four of us, until we could find a new house. And we had this $30,000 sitting in the bank. And my husband was like, "This is awesome. This is great. Having all this money, seeing that the bank account balance." I said, "Honey, as soon as you can, pay off the every credit card. Pay them off. We want zero debt as soon as possible. We don't want to make another interest payment." So since then, we have one credit card. We pay it off every month. We use it for points and protection. And that's another thing with identity theft, things you can dispute. So it's better. It would have been easier if I had my fraud earlier in the year on a credit card instead of my debit card. But thankfully, I have a good bank that I have my checking account with. So there's reasons to have credit cards. We have a credit card because we have all of our purchases in one place. We can go look through, be like, how many times did we go out to eat? What did we spend on car repairs in the last 3 months? You know, it helps us with our taxes, having everything in one place. Like if we own a home, a rental home, and we're doing repairs on it, we'd be like, how many times did we have to go to Home Depot? We did that 2 years ago. I had to be like, we had moved down here to Florida, still had a house up there we were fixing up. So the Home Depot in Denver, I could extract that out of my credit card bill for our taxes, be like, here's what we spent fixing that house up. So yeah, there's a reason to have a credit card, but try to pay it off every month. Don't get in that interest cycle loop. So I still do, even after seeing Rand Paul's take on it and the logic behind why we have high interest rates, I still think maybe a temporary freeze on them so people who are going to dig themselves out can dig themselves out. That seems logical to me. The other thing that I was going to talk about is, I keep thinking BlackRock, but it's Blackstone, who has been buying up a lot of real estate, a lot of single-family homes, which has been happening for decades, if not a century, you know. People buying whole apartment blocks and renting them out. So at first when I heard that, I was like, yeah, let's like limit how much these big corporations can buy housing, because there is a housing shortage and that's driving prices up. And you know, the rental market, it's like this progressive, like you're not going to own anything kind of vibe that they're trying to go for. But is that socialist or communist? I'm not sure what the idea behind that is, or the philosophy. But the thing that's going to happen, which I'm sure people don't want, is rich get richer, poor get poorer. So if you're in the rental class, you'll never be in that position where you could buy your own home. The more that they make the market lean towards rental properties versus homes for sale, because the less homes you have for sale, because a big corporation's buying them up, the more pricey that set of homes is going to be. And then you'll be forced into being a renter. So I appreciate the Trump administration's policy around that. And I mean, they have some really smart people in the industry, I'm sure, advising them. But Rand Paul's take is, let capitalism work itself out. It's capitalism. Capitalism was worked. It has worked. It's brought everyone's standard of living up. So I guess I kind of can see both sides of that. I'm glad that there's some awareness and they're making some some, boy, I can't even say that I'm happy they're making laws around this, but I'm glad that they're raising awareness that this is happening and possibly even stopping it. But again, free market capitalism, this is not what that is. And we are, as our country is not fully capitalist anymore. There, with all the social programs, that excessive taxation and money just given, taxpayer money given, like just that thing in Minnesota that's happening to daycares and home health transportation people. That's not, I don't believe that's free market capitalism. So we've already strayed from like a genuine form of capitalism. I think we are a capitalist socialist country already, and I don't like it, actually. I really, but it's a thing where every single person has a different value, and based on their own past and experiences, they decide what's important to them and what's not. So, having the school food programs, my daughter is avid. Every child should be fed at school. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. I'm like, I agree with that to the point where if you're giving one child free lunch, you should give every child free lunch, regardless of income status. I think it should be something every child should get. But then that's not, I don't believe that's a capitalist ideal, feeding kids at school. I do love how Florida has their voucher program here, the Step Up scholarships kids can get to go to a private school or a charter school, or if they get money to homeschool. It's amazing. I love our program here. And again, I don't think that's a capitalist sort of ideal, but I love it. So yeah, that was my thoughts for today. I just miss Scott Adams. He just was such a light in this world, and he really, the last few years of watching him every day, inspired me that I have something to add to the world, my thoughts. So here's I think my little puppy, Lucky. Oh, because yeah, it's the dog. Let's see. Come here. Let's see if you can. Your camera. You can get on camera. No. He's a sweet boy. But let me say goodbye to you all as we wrap up today's time together, dear friends. Here's my gentle reminder to you: keep learning, keep growing. Every single day is another chance to uncover something new, to stretch a little further, to become even more of the wonderful person you are. You are valued. You are capable. And the world's better with your light in it. Thanks for sharing time with me today. I'll be right here tomorrow, ready for more wisdom and heart and coffee. I still haven't finished my 1 cup. I think it's kind of cold now. But until then, till I see you again, have a wonderful day. You're my precious, precious ones. You're the Lord's precious one. Have a good one. Bye.